Good morning, Saints. Welcome to another Ken TV. I'm Pastor Ken. I am getting ready to go and preach today. We're going to have a great service. We're going to be in the book of Exodus today. You can go to my other channel, which is 10 of Meeting Holiness Ministries, and you'll get to see the whole sermon that I'll be preaching on today. But right now, we're going to discuss afterwards what we talked about in the sermon. And you'll only get that here on Ken TV. So after I get through preaching, I'll come back and then we'll be going over what I just preached. And this will only be on Ken TV. Let's go. And we're back. And we had a great service today. We had some people get breakthroughs today. The word went forth. It was great. And this is what you missed. And we're back. And I am done preaching today. I want you to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. If this is your first time being here, please come aboard, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you can hear all of the new things that we got going on. Now, today when I was preaching, when we were talking about the burning bush, and we was in Exodus 3, it was in the 3rd chapter. It was really good because what we saw was the human side of what was going on as far as Moses seeing the burning bush. The scripture was talking about in 3, the 3rd verse, it says, "And Moses said, I will turn aside to see this great sight, why the bush is not burned." He was looking at this burning bush, but he realized that it wasn't burned up. And that really fascinated him. And God knows how to get our attention. So he went to that bush, and and you just see it like any of us would have done it. Any of us would have saw something like that and see that the bush wasn't burning, and we would have went to it. It's just something we would do. We as human beings, that's what we do. We just nosy like that. Mm-hmm. But it was an interesting sight. And then God tells him while he's there to take off his shoes because he's about to step on holy ground. Now, and what you see in that is how God makes us do something before he gives us a mandate. Before Moses learns about what he had to do or what he was about to do, God tells him to do something. You always have to do something for God so you can get what you need. And it's just like anything in your life. If you have a check coming through the mail, it doesn't matter if you never go to the mailbox. Mm-hmm. You have to do something. You have to go to the mailbox and go get it, right? Otherwise, you won't get the check. You won't get what the check has to offer if you never go to the mailbox and go get it. So this is the type of thing, we were looking at, and how God told Moses. One of the biggest things we saw is when God said that he heard the cries of his people, and he came down because he heard the cries of his people. And then you think about when you are a kid and you and your brothers and sisters or cousins, y'all doing everything, tearing up the house and just doing everything, mm-hmm. and you hear your mom or your dad come down everybody scatter. It's time to go, right? You know, and that's the kind of thing that happened. God heard the cries of the children of Israel, and he came down.
Right.
That is huge, you know. But and later on in the scriptures, you see how scared Moses was. Moses was, he was so scared that he didn't know, like God telling him, you're going to go to Pharaoh and you're going to tell him to free my people. Now, mind you, you see how Moses understood who Pharaoh was because he lived there.
Mm-hmm.
He's seen Moses, but but he never seen God. He's heard of God, but he's never seen God in action. Mm-hmm. You know, but he's seen Pharaoh in action, and he knows what Pharaoh is capable of. So it was really hard for Moses as a human being, somebody whose physical being has been in a physical place like Egypt, and seeing the majesty and the power of an Egyptian pharaoh, but seeing God for the first time and not really understanding what God can do or what God is capable of. So the fear of going to Pharaoh is real for Moses, you know. And you have to understand that as a human being, anybody will be scared. Somebody, you know, you have a burning bush that don't burn up telling you that you need to go and tell the president of the United States to free a whole bunch of your friends and your relatives.
Right.
And it tells you that, and he's going to do it. This is the leader of the free world. You just Moses. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, you have to see the realism. I love the realism of this chapter, and I love the realism of how the great God talks to this man who got ran out of Egypt, you know,
Right.
and who really didn't have a place to stay. Moses, he was with his parents and he couldn't stay with his parents. He was in Egypt and couldn't stay in Egypt. You know, he ended up with Jethro out in the wilderness. You know, and it's like, this man, he really never had a home. He didn't even get to make it to the promised land. You know, it was like Moses was this man without a home, but he had God in his corner. And you just see how you just see this story comes to life in this third chapter. And I really enjoy preaching it and teaching about it. And if you have any good comments to say about this story in Exodus 3, write them in the comment section below. You know, I would love to hear what you have to say. You know, because it's a very good book. And then like next week, because in my church we just going step by step through the Bible. So next week we'll be in Exodus 4.
Right.
We'll be in Exodus 4. So it's just good to see how see the realism of the Bible. You see these guys in there, you know, they're almost like superheroes in the Bible, because you see David, King David, and you see Samson, and you see Moses, and you see all of these guys, Solomon. But when you really start digging into their story, you just see the human aspect. They were just people, just like us.
Right.
You know, trying to please God, just like we are, you know. So it was good stuff, and I enjoyed teaching and preaching it, and I'm gonna really enjoy it next week too. So stay tuned. Every Sunday I'll be doing one of these to give just a little extra on what was preached on Sunday. And if you want to see the sermon on Sunday, you can click on the link below. It's a link that goes to the Tent of Meeting Holiness Ministries YouTube channel, and you'll see all of the sermons that I've preached and teached in there. All right, that's it for today. I just thought it was very interesting that chapter Exodus 3, because we read the whole chapter, so it was pretty cool. And just watching Moses going through his thing, and you know, like next week when I do the sermon, you'll see Moses doing his thing again, going through a whole lot of excuses because he's nervous and he's scared. And you know, from a human standpoint, you can see that in the scriptures, you know. So it's very important to really see people in the stories the way they are, because then you can relate it to yourself and how you would be in that situation, you know. Okay, everybody, that's it for today. Join me next time with this, but we'll probably do another Ken TV tomorrow.
Okay.
So see you again, and stay blessed and faithful.